Hello everyone. This is a hardcore Canadian immigration live session and dedicated YouTube channel. Why do I say it's hardcore Canadian immigration? Well, it's because we don't do anything else except talk about Canadian immigration on this channel. So there's not going to be any how to cure something with banana peels, or how to fix something in your home with blow dryers, or any gaming or political news. No, this is purely hardcore Canadian immigration news. And today's live session, which is a live recording right now, in case you're watching this later, we do record these live every Thursday. We're talking about the top 20 postgraduate work permit questions for international students who graduated from Canadian public post-secondary schools or accredited post-secondary programs. This is an advanced level question and answer period. So if you're not familiar with PGWPs, which is the postgraduate work permits, some of these questions may be a bit too much for you at the moment, as we call some of these mind-twisting immigration questions for which sometimes there's really no clear answer on the IRCC website. Quick introduction, my name is Reza, if you don't know, and I work with the PGWP Canada immigration team helping applicants move to Canada, whether for yourself, your kids, your business, or all of the above. We do help with the whole process. And let me make this clear to everyone, I'm not an actual full-time YouTuber, but I work hands-on with our licensed immigration team here in Canada, working on actual applications and corresponding on behalf of our clients with the Canadian Immigration Department, whether it's inside of Canada or outside. And these videos are made for the purpose of sharing our hands-on Canadian immigration knowledge with our worldwide audience. And again, if you're thinking about immigrating at PGWP, we break down the barriers between countries so you can study, work, or invest in the destination of your choice. We are licensed and we help applicants just like yourself and your families. So let's jump in to the top 20 PGWP or postgraduate work permit question for international students. Number 1. Can I apply for a postgraduate work permit while my study permit extension application is still processing after my current study permit has expired? Yes, the official IRCC answer to this is, which may sound unusual, is to apply for a postgraduate work permit if you're eligible and a restoration of your status at the same time. The reason for this is that you don't know for 100% sure if and when your study permit extension will be approved to apply for your PGWP. If it's not approved, the restoration application will be processed and the PGWP at the same time. And if the study permit renewal application you had submitted previously is processed and approved by IRCC, then they won't process your restoration application, but rather just your postgraduate work permit application at that time, and the restoration application fee will be refunded to you. Okay, there you go. Question number 1. I told you it was going to be a mind twister. Question number 2, transition period question. Can I work while I wait for my final transcripts so I can apply for my PGWP? Well, you can work until the day your college or university confirms that you have completed your course or program. If there's a gap between your completion confirmation from the school and you receiving the final transcripts to apply for your PGWP, then you're not authorized to work during that quote-unquote gap period. The shorter you can make the gap period, the better, and push your school to get you the documents such as your final transcripts. Even if you have a gap period until you apply for your PGWP, you can continue to work when you have applied. So from that same day you do the application, get a confirmation, you can continue to start working. But during that gap period, from the day you complete your program, you've received a confirmation of completion from your school, and the day you apply for your PGWP, that gap, you're not allowed to study. Oh, work, apologies, work. So we will be going now to the next question, number 3. Can I apply for my health card while I wait for my postgraduate work permit to be applied? No, you need to wait to have your postgraduate work permit in your hand before you can apply for your provincial health coverage. Number 4, could I leave Canada for a short period of time while I wait for my final transcripts so I can apply for my PGWP from back home, from outside of Canada? Yes, it's possible. You will not be authorized to work while you wait for your PGWP if you leave the country, but you're authorized to apply from outside of Canada within 180 days of program completion. Perfect. So let's go to question number 5. Could I travel while I wait for my PGWP to be approved? So this question means you've applied for your postgraduate work permit from inside of Canada, but while you're waiting for a decision, you travel outside of Canada. Well, yes, you are allowed to travel outside, but similar answer to question 4, you will not be authorized to work while you wait for your PGWP when you arrive back. So if you leave the country, you lose that maintained status for work authorization. You do have status, but you don't have, you're not allowed to work. So if you lose the work authorization, then when you come back, all you can do as a visitor is wait and for the postgraduate work permit. Okay, so that's very important. While you wait, you can work and stay inside Canada. But if you travel outside during that time, you're not allowed to continue to work when you return. And remember, you do need a valid visitor visa to return if you're not from a visa exempt country. Number 6, how can I extend my postgraduate work permit? Postgraduate work permit extensions are not possible unless the government has specific policies to allow international students to extend, which they have done this year and previous year. So currently there is a policy from the government, Canadian government, that allows you to extend your postgraduate work permit if you meet the eligibility criteria. Number 7, I finished my program, but I didn't receive my diploma or degree yet. Can I apply for my postgraduate work permit, or do I need to wait to receive the final diploma, certificate, or degree? You only need your confirmation of completion of the program and your final transcript to apply for your postgraduate work permit in terms of the school documents. You don't actually need the final diploma, certificate, or degree copy to include in a postgraduate work permit application. So that is not interesting. That is not required. Okay. Just double checking if we're live right now, or am I just talking to myself? Yeah, folks. There we go. We're live. Okay, good. No, just it was a little bit there was cricket sounding, so I was a little bit concerned. Okay. So number 8, I extended my study permit and it's still being processed. While waiting for my application result, I submitted my postgraduate work permit application. Can I work full-time based on the maintained status for the PGWP application? Yes, if you do not lose status before you applied. So that's fine. Number 9, I applied for my postgraduate work permit in August 2022. This is just an example. I received a PDF document, like a letter from IRCC online, saying that you're authorized to work for any employer in any occupation with no restrictions on hours until November 10th, 2022, or until a decision is made on your application, whichever is first. It's now November 10th, and I have still not received a decision. Do I need to start working? So this is a very common question we get from everyone about postgraduate work permits. Well, the answer, or the detailed answer, is this. Well, the quick answer is no, it's fine. You can continue to work. The detailed answer is, as per section 186W subsection 2 of the Immigration Refugee Protection Regulations, IRPR, IRPR. Yes, that's correct. You can legally work until a decision is made on your postgraduate work permit application, right? The data on these letters often confuses people. However, under this section noted above, you're actually legally authorized to continue working. The instructions that have been stated by the government to the officers is officers should understand that the validity date of the letter in no way overrides the authority of paragraph of the regulations 186 subsection W, which allows foreign nationals who meet the requirements to continue working until a final decision is made on their work permit application. So that letter is issued by IRCC so you can show your employer that, hey, you've applied for a postgraduate work permit. It's under process. But that deadline on that letter is not going to stop or not allow you to work beyond that date until a decision is made on your postgraduate work permit. Question number 10, can I submit my postgraduate work permit application and my spouse's open work permit in the same application at the same time? What if my renewed postgraduate work permit does not arrive before the old one expires? Yes, you will need 2 pay stubs of you working in a NOC 0A or B, and again, the NOC levels are changing in 6 days as of the recording of this video. And if you, as the main international student who's applying for the PGWP, has 2 pay stubs to prove that you're actively working in a NOC 0A or B occupation, it could be part-time, it could be full-time, then your spouse or partner is eligible to apply for an open work permit at the same time as you. Number 11, I was working while I was out of status in Canada after my postgraduate work permit expired. Will IRCC penalize me for unauthorized work considering the new special measures? No, due to special measures, IRCC will not take enforcement actions against you for unauthorized work. However, you must disclose your unauthorized work in the form IMM 57110 when applying for the 18-month postgraduate work extension. And IRCC instituted a policy that waives the regulatory prohibition of work permit issuance under the regulation section 300 subsection 3E when there has been an authorized work or study unless the applicant has engaged in authorized work for the employer described in certain subsections of regulation 196.1 of the IRPR. And under the subsection 196.1, a foreign national must not enter in an employment agreement or extend the term of an employment agreement with an employer under these circumstances. Okay, so with an employer who on a regular, if they're in some kind of the adult industry, let's say striptease, erotic dances, escort services, or anything mentioned in subparagraphs 200. So unless it's in those categories, they're allowed, the international student will not be penalized for that unauthorized work. And if you do, and if you're not eligible for the postgraduate work permit extension policy, and you have authorized, and you have studied or worked on without authorization, without valid status, then you would need to leave the country for 6 months. And as per the regulations, you would be eligible to reapply, but you need to come clean on that end in case you're not eligible for the policies to extend your status or work permit from inside Canada. Question number 2, my postgraduate work permit expires October 2nd, 2022 to December 31st, 2022, but IRCC didn't contact me. So it means your postgraduate work permit expiry date falls in that range. So if you did not receive an email from IRCC by mid-September or early October, you're not eligible to have your work permit extended through the special process under the new policy. Okay, it's all automatic, but you may still be able to apply online, but it depends on your case. Most applicants whose postgraduate work permit was expiring and they're eligible for the new policy would receive a confirmation email from IRCC confirming the extension. In very peculiar circumstances, if you don't receive it and you think you're eligible, you can apply online. Number 13, my postgraduate work permit expired in September of last year. Can I still apply for the extension under this new policy announced this year? Well, you need to apply online for work permit. Applications opened, in August earlier this year. And if you're in Canada and your temporary status has also expired, you must also apply for restoration at the same time. Under these special measures, you're allowed to restore your status even if it's expired more than 90 days ago. You're eligible to apply from abroad if you have left Canada and return after you have been approved for the postgraduate work permit. Question number 4, how do I apply for a postgraduate work permit from overseas? Simple, you're only eligible if you apply from overseas within 180 days from your program completion, no matter if you studied online or in person. If you graduated from a Canadian post-secondary institution or are applying for a post-graduation work permit from outside Canada, if you're eligible under that eligible accredited program, you must indicate this on your application form for the work permit made from outside Canada, which is IMM 1295. And in the section where it says details of the intended work in Canada, question 1 where it says choose open work permit. Well, question 1, you choose open work permit. Question 2, a name of employer, you just put postgraduate work permit. Simple, you just have to make sure you're eligible. Question number 15, can I apply for a postgraduate work permit if it's more than 180 days since I graduated? No, unfortunately, that's not allowed, and there's no special exceptions or policies for that. Number 16, you study for a 1-year program, private, let's say, and graduated, like a private college. You apply to renew your study permit, okay, because you have an admission to another college program, whether public or private. So there's a gap of, let's say, 2 months or 3 months. Are you allowed to work between your renewal time between the study permits and your new program opens? Yes, you are allowed. There's a specific restriction on time, but if you did not lose status and you renewed it before that, you are allowed to continue to work, okay? The question number 17, I was only issued a 2-year postgraduate work permit, even though I'm eligible for a 3-year, because I couldn't renew my passport in time because my passport expires before the full validity of my postgraduate work permit. Hence, IRCC issued a shorter postgraduate work permit. Now that I have a new passport, should I apply for a new postgraduate work permit to get a 3-year validity? Yes, right now as of November 2022, this is a paper application, and you can submit it and mention that at the time of your original postgraduate work permit, your passport was expiring sooner than the full validity or duration of what you're eligible for. It's a long process. It's a paper application. Number 18, I completed a 2-year program in Canada. Will I automatically receive a 3-year postgraduate work permit? Is there any chance that I will receive a less than 3-year duration postgraduate work permit if I'm eligible? The IRCC officer in Edmonton, okay, will review your eligibility, your program duration, and credits you have completed while being a full-time student, and can use their discretion to issue you a 2- or 3-year postgraduate work permit, or even a 1-year. I've seen cases where the same classmates, same exact program, same exact conditions, applied for PGWP, but they received different durations for their final work permit. It's not 100% guaranteed that you will get a 3-year or a 2-year or a 1-year. And if there's a mistake done by an officer in your PGWP application process, then you can send a request through web form to request to rectify it with supporting documentation and an explanation. And this has done, and we've done this before and it has worked. But you need to be 100% sure it was a mistake on their part, not your part. Number 19, if my postgraduate work permit is refused, can I reapply? Yes, you can reapply, but make sure you also do a restoration of status if your current status has expired with your PGWP reapplication. I only suggest doing this if you believe 100% that there was a mistake on the part of the IRCC in processing your PGWP. You can even apply for judicial review and contest the refusal in court if the leave is granted, if you believe there was an error in law. I don't recommend reapplying after being refused if you don't know, if you don't know the reason, or you took time off and you were not a full-time student inside Canada as an international student, then there's really no point to try to fight the decision. Number 20, what if my postgraduate work permit is refused and my children are in elementary school in Canada? can they continue studying? Check your province's education regulation through the Ministry of Education. For example, in Ontario, minors can continue to complete the academic year they are currently enrolled in, even if the parents or guardians have lost their status in Canada, whether they're on a work permit or study permit. And there you have it, folks, the top 20 mind-twisting, crazy postgraduate work permit questions for November 2022. And these have been compiled over time based on actual cases that we've handled. And if you need help with your PGWP issues, that means you graduated from an accredited program in Canada, or maybe you studied remote 50%, you could be eligible for a postgraduate work permit. And don't hesitate to reach out to us on our website. Send a message, just mention you watched our postgraduate work permit YouTube video as of November 2022. We'd be happy to help you. And of course, we're in our live session. So if you're thinking about immigrating to Canada through studies, business, work, skilled immigration, or sponsorship, you're at the right place. And as everyone knows by now, I can only guarantee one thing. I can't guarantee anything except this one thing. You know what you're getting yourself into. You know what to expect. The entire process clearly laid out for you. All the risks clearly communicated to you, and where we can provide you as a client 100% support. No surprises, just results. And of course, we have a $1 million liability insurance, which protects you and us from mistakes or fraud, as well as a dedicated client trust account with the Canadian banks. Our team speaks over 8 languages, and we help applicants from over 47 different countries with their Canadian immigration process. Click the link below this video and get a free email assessment. And if you want a one-on-one assessment with me or any of my team members, like a Zoom call or even an in-person in case you're in Toronto, well, click on the consultation link also included in the description of this video as well to book a one-on-one session. And if you have questions, we're here every Thursday on our weekly live schedules on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Thursday, 11 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time, where we answer all of your Canadian immigration questions for free on the spot. And yes, currently we're in our live session, and we're going to answer those questions live. If you're watching a recording of this later on, and you're wondering what's going on, well, here we go. We're doing a live session. We're answering questions from our YouTube channel only. I cannot see Facebook, Instagram comments, but YouTube, we've got Safa Salah Ahmadiyya Bahraini. Nice to see you again. Safa, I've got Nasrin Ibrahimi. Hi Reza Jun, buenos dias. Buenos dias to you, Nasrin Rosita. Nice to see you online. Safa Saleh says, hi Reza, I'm wondering if there's any legal way to work full or part-time under contractual agreement with another employer while you're on a closed work permit. Interesting. That's a tough one. I would say, obviously you can't be under payroll. You could do freelance on the side, right? Like an independent contractor. Or you could actually route the business through your own business, right? Like you're on a closed work permit. I assume you're here on startup because I remember the discussions we've had. And let's say your business, they could hire your company to do the work, basically indirectly hiring you through your company as an independent contractor. So as an independent contractor, it's fine. You can do it. And Safa Saleh continues with this question. What you have to do if you get a letter of support and you're waiting for your work permit? Do you have to prove that you're active in your business plans, such as conducting meetings or emails to potential clients? Well, I mean, until you get a letter of support, might take 2 months, 3 months, worst case 4 months. It's not a huge deal. The question is, you need to be looking at, like, it has to seem like you're actually doing work throughout this entire time. So not just that period of time. It's not important what you really do. They will look at the big picture when they look at your PR after 2.5 years from the day you applied, which means they're going to look at what did you do during these 2.5 years. They're not going to be like, well, what did you do between August to November? That's not really what they're concerned about, okay? They look at the big picture, the progression, the traction, the results you've gotten. What have you achieved? These are the things they're looking at. Safa Salah says, what's the percentage of work permit rejections, even if you have a letter of support from designated organization? So Safa, it's I don't have the exact statistics on that because it's not broken down yet and reported the way you wanted it to be reported. But it depends purely on the profile of the applicant and the country they're applying from. So if imagine somebody's applying from the US or Europe and they're European citizen or immigrant, do you think they'll really be refused? No, probably not, right? But somebody's from a high refusal region, right? Maybe United Arab Emirates and their profile is not good, or Middle East or Africa, but they don't have a strong profile, financial assets, a plan of what they want to do with the startup, or travel history. But yeah, they can be refused, right? So there's no official statistics. Mohammed Mubarak says, hi Reza, it's difficult to find an internship from outside Canada. Mohammed, it's literally impossible to find an internship from outside Canada, as you know, if you're trying to study remotely and do a co-op or an internship. I highly recommend, if you want a real internship, you've got to be here, but have your school help you and don't end up coming here and not having an internship in this first place. So that's very important. So that's what we have so far, folks. Our session today was about postgraduate work permits, but we're open to any other questions. As I said, this is our live session, our regularly scheduled Thursday live session, where I answer all of the immigration-related Canadian questions that I'm capable of. There's certain things that we don't know or I cannot comment on, which I will let you know. But if I can guide you in the right direction, that's what we're gonna do. And if you're wondering, why am I wearing a jacket? Why am I sitting in my kitchen? Well, what can I say? Toronto is getting cold. Canada is getting cold. This is the time when fall is coming and winter is slowly creeping up over the next 2 months. And why am I in my kitchen? I have no clue. I guess I get bored sitting in my office. Hemantha Pathiraja says, hi Reza, after some time, nice to see you. Nice to see you, Hemantha. Well, I'm not seeing you, I'm reading your comments. You're seeing me. Good. As a PNP nominee, are we allowed to work in another employment opportunities? Nope. If you were, so under PNP nominations, you have to understand under which stream, right? If you are under the human capital stream and express entry human capital stream, then yeah, it's not employer sponsorship, right? So you're open to work anywhere within that province has nominated you, right? But if it's an employer stream where you've actually been nominated based on a job offer from an eligible employer in that province, then you're stuck based on those conditions that you've got to continue to work the same position, title, wage, etc. until your PR is processed. And you are not allowed to move to another province. A PNP is purely focused on people who want to go into that province. If you at any second move outside the province officially, not travel, I'm talking about moving, your PNP is done. Your nomination is void. Your PR, everything goes down the drain, right? So I'm we have a lot of clients in that category, so I'm quite passionate about making sure that people know what they're obliged to do according to the nomination certificate. Read the nomination certificate, first 2 pages, pretty much states all the conditions that you have to meet, and typically it's in the province, and if it's a job offer, you have to continue to be in that position, title, wage, etc. on full-time basis until your PR. After your PR, you're fine. You're good to go. You can move anywhere inside or outside of Canada. And if you move outside of Canada, remember, you do have a 2-year residency obligation as a permanent resident, no matter what or where. Okay? And again, thank you for the questions. Good to see you, Safa Saleh. I know you're very active in your startup, I assume, right? Maybe you're inside Canada already. Just to keep everyone updated, we do have a webinar that we're hosting on November 29th of this year, obviously, in the next 19 days, about startup visa, going over the basics, understanding what to do not to get refused, what to do if you know, to make sure you're on the IRC's good side, the general process, the general timelines, what people are offering, sort of myth busting. So we do have a dedicated startup visa webinar coming up in November 29th. I believe it's in the morning time in North America. But we're going to include a link in our video that we're posting in all of our videos coming up. And remember, if you have any questions, we're here Thursdays as well to answer your questions. And Safa says, thanks, Reza. Hopefully I can meet you someday in Canada. Another question, if you allow me. Yeah, sure, Safa. Go ahead. Wide open, folks. Hemantha says, thank you for your comments. No problem, Hemantha. Anytime. We'll wait for Safa's question. And again, folks, remember, we just released our 3-year Canadian immigration plan analysis that we posted yesterday, which is November 9th on our channel or on our YouTube channel. Make sure you look at it because we did a deep dive of what it all means about all this fluffy, you know, increase of immigration. Is it going to help you as applicants? Is it going to increase your chances or not? And what to really expect from the government and what are the risks? So we released that video yesterday. And we've got our webinar coming up about startup visa November 29th. Make sure you stick around for that or register in advance. We're going to include a registration link in the description of this video when we post it a little bit later on. Layli Reza says thank you. Yes, no problem. Safa says, okay, Safa's last question, and don't worry if you have more questions after this. Do I have to disclose remotely for work for tax? Okay, do I have to disclose remotely work for tax? Okay, you got to reword it, Safa. Does that mean you're working outside of Canada? And are you declaring taxes in Canada, which I assume no? Or what I'm thinking is you're inside Canada and you're working for somebody from outside of Canada, right? Yeah, I mean, in theory, I'm no tax expert. Okay, so this is my personal opinion. You know, always consult with an accountant, a certified public accountant, if you will. But my personal opinion is legally, any work done inside of Canada should be declared as per the Canada Revenue Agency. And if you don't declare it, that's fine. I mean, you know, that's up to you. But that's my personal opinion that legally you're obliged to. But please, please consult with a certified accountant, tax consultant who specializes in this. But that's just my personal experience. I cannot comment as it's not really an immigration related question. I just have my own experience on that. Okay. So if that's it, we're gonna close off today. And anyone who's joining us today, it was our live session that we do every Thursday on the dot at 11 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time to answer all of your Canadian immigration questions. And today's topic was postgraduate work permit questions, the tricky stuff that's usually not available online for answers. And then in our comments and questions after the live, of course, we answer everything from PNP, startup visas, study permits, you name it, we do it. We're here to help, okay? We'll see you next week, folks. Don't forget to tune in. Appreciate everyone participating in today's live. Take care. Bye-bye now.